Less than 190 calories, actually.
Really?
Really.
One thing that you can be certain of today is that the modern world is bombarded with ads, absolutely drowning in ads. Ads for Apple, Gucci, McDonald's, drones, slime, holidays, Depop, TikTok, Raid Shadow Legends, and a whole manner else. There are good ads, bad ads like this, weird ads like this one selling Crusher, which I remember watching when I was a kid.
I want some Crusher, a little Crusher. Milk keeps me fit and tastes so great. I want some Crusher, a glass of Crusher. It's tough enough to make milk shake.
To be fair, I did actually have a mild obsession with Crusher for a while. And then there are diabolical ads, which most mobile ads are.
Oh.
Hang on.
When done well, an ad could be clever, funny, or even actual pieces of art. And ads are actually needed to an extent. We, as consumers, want to be able to buy the best product for what we need and want. Where before, in ancient times, the main method of advertising was done by word of mouth, where the merchant who had wares to offer brought them to the gates of a city, and there crowded loud, making the worth of his goods known to those who were entering the city and who might be induced to turn aside and purchase them. Well, that's largely impossible today, since no one under the age of 30 can speak to another person without having a panic attack. So my interest in advertising stems from the fact that ads are a type of media that often sits on the intersection between commerciality and artistry. As much as we like to deny it, advertising is as much a shape of popular culture as movies, TV shows, celebrities, art, music, and politics. This is especially when ads can both be incorporated in these other types of media, for example in product placement, as well as have these other medias influence the making of an ad. So that explains my interest in ads as a media and the idea of what makes a good ad, which I'd like to develop in a later video. But that's not what this video is about. It's about the opposite, actually. Today we're talking about the horrendously poor ethics in advertising today. It's likely you've been feeling that there are a lot of ads, and of those lots of ads, a lot of them are just bad. But not just creatively, artistically, or persuasively bad. Actually, how persuasive they are is actually part of the problem. But no, not any of these things, but how ads today are ethically bad. A lot of shady ad practices have taken centre stage in the last few years, and given how pervasive ads are nowadays, which is something that I also will get onto later in the video, I think there should be some more solemn consideration in how we are being convinced to part with our hard-earned cash. However, since you have me as your host, we're gonna be a bit goofy going into this subject. But first, well, hello there. This is Zurich, and right now we're up in the air, where we free fall into books, poetry, and anything else we decide to get into. Now that we're all acquainted, let's make our descent. Geronimo. Make no mistake, this is going to be in the perspective of the consumer. If it wasn't, this video would be titled How to Successfully Hoodwink Consumers with Ads, giggity giggity. As I realised from recently joining the digital creator marketplace, everyone here has to be an advertiser to some extent. At the start, I was more uncomfortable with trying to get people to look at what I was doing. Not only am I habitually shy and laughably awkward, I was also feeling, especially as I'm new to this whole thing, and I don't have the best equipment or studio space, and I'm actively working on, improving myself as a good content creator, that I didn't think I had enough experience for anyone to see the results of the effort I put into the stuff I created. On that note, this is a great time to say a quick word from our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends.
Let's play Raid Shadow Legends. Get ready to raid.
No, but seriously, I am writing a novel on Substack. It's a London anti-romance novel about an artist getting into the wrong types of crowd. If you like literary fiction that's not afraid to get a little experimental and get into taboo topics when they come up, then I think you'd enjoy it. If you like this video, then you probably would enjoy it. And I'd appreciate you trying it out. It's generally updated every 2 weeks. And I'm really trying to make it a thing, you know? Also, if you do like this video, or general free falls into books, poetry, and anything else we decide to get into, then if you could subscribe and like this video and turn the bell on and do all that so I can keep bringing enjoyable and informative videos that talk about culture, and you can get notified next time I go on a rant disguised as an intellectual topic. Okay, bish bash bosh! Thanks for listening. Let's get back to the video. From my experience and understanding, a lot of different things are needed to make a good ad. I think there are mainly 3 elements that an ad has to consider when trying to successfully sell a product. I also think that when an ad exploits these elements to excess, or if we borrow Susan Sontag's idea that a poster's main identifying point is that they are visually aggressive because they are in competition with other ads, we, the consumer, can tell that an ad is overly visually aggressive, i.e. overly attention-grabbing, that it completely disregards these elements in its effort to sell its product. That's how we can tell that an ad is ethically bad. Okay, it'll make more sense when I tell you what these elements are. The first one is frequency, the amount of times an ad, either individually or as a massive advert, is shown to a consumer in a short period of time. The second one is desirability, the methods used by an ad to make the product as appealing as possible by claiming to satisfy a particular want that the consumer has. And authenticity, the methods used by an ad to make a product as appealing as possible by claiming that the brand itself upholds to a particular identity, belief, or standard. So I'm going to talk about them each in turn with examples so you know what to look out for when being manipulated by the bad corporate actors trying to make you give away your doubloons. You gotta keep your doubloons. Alright, here's the thing. Have you noticed all these Temu ads playing constantly everywhere you look? Sponsoring every content creator they can get their hands on, telling you to shop like a millionaire because everything is so cheap.
I feel like a billionaire. I'm shopping like a billionaire.
And unless you're using an ad blocker, you probably have noticed the increase of unskippable ads on YouTube. YouTube even tried testing out showing 10 unskippable ads in a row. Like, what? Like, what is the thought process behind that? I have no idea. Anyway, the amount of ads the typical person looks at is astronomical. It's estimated that the average adult in a metropolitan area may see anything from 50 to 400 adverts per day. But seeing more ads than we did 100 years ago is certainly annoying, but not necessarily a bad thing. It is a bad thing, though, when advertisers use frequency as a way to psychologically manipulate the consumer into buying their product. And this is exactly what they do. This is made worse by the fact that without an ad block, the typical person can't actually get away from these ads. The fact is, not only are ads being shown at an unrelenting pace, often you can see the same ad over and over and over and over again in a really short period of time. Yeah, okay, it's not a bad thing for ads to be shown more than once, or even regularly. They got to get their money's worth for setting up that ad, okay. But when it is used in excess, that's what makes it unethical. And that's because the frequency is basically hacking your brain. And the way it does this is by 2 little words. 2 medium-sized words. Frequency illusion. Frequency illusion is a type of cognitive bias where a person starts to notice something more and more often after noticing it for the first time, leading to the belief that it has an increased frequency of occurrence. The way ads use this phenomenon is by doing this. By constantly showing a particular ad to a viewer, the viewer is more likely to take notice of it and think that it is important. This is a cognitive process called called selective attention. Equally, the more an ad is shown, the more likely the viewer will think that the product is popular, appealing, and worthy to be bought. This works not just with a particular ad, but with ads as a whole. The more ads are shown together in a short period of time, the more likely you are to buy at least one of the ads. So visually bad ads like mobile ads or shady marketplace website ads like Wish, Alibaba and Temu, and equally shady fast fashion brands like Shein and Fashion Nova particularly use this tactic because it's the perfect strategy for poor quality products. And at some point, a customer is going to cave and buy a cheap pair of trainers in exchange for their personal data, which I think is a good business deal, to be fair. Susan Sontag said this about posters. Whereas a public notice, or PSA, we would think of them now, aims to inform or command and views the individual it gives its information to as an unidentified member of the body politic, posters view the individual through the modern lens of the public, where the members of society are defined primarily as spectators and consumers. As so, a poster aims to seduce, to exhort, to sell, to convince, to appeal. If we swap the word poster for ads in general, this would be a perfect way to describe an ad's need for the element of desirability. In short, an ad's main purpose, even before presenting the actual worth of its product, is to make the product desirable, enticing, seducing. In other words, an ad's aim is to create an appeal in the consumer, i.e. us, not just in what we need, but more importantly to them, in what we want. This can be seen when companies use celebrities to make their product seem more desirable, just because the celebrity is seen within a mile radius of the product. Okay, of course, Coco Mademoiselle isn't going to make you smell like Keira Knightley, or give you Keira Knightley money, fame, looks and allure. But this is what Chanel wants you to think, and this is what convinces you to buy the perfume, even if it's only on a subconscious level. However, this method of appealing to the consumer is relatively obvious and mostly doesn't overly inflate the inherent value of the product. Like, you might not be Keira Knightley if you use Coco Mademoiselle, but the perfume is likely to still make you smell nice. Thus, I would say overt, obvious appeals to a viewer's desire that doesn't obscure the actual value of the product. It is not an unethical method of advertising to people. They gotta make their money somehow. It's when this element of desirability is pushed so aggressively that it falsely presents the value of a product that is what makes it unethical. This has been done supremely well with cryptocurrencies and NFTs. Cast your mind back to 2022. Ooh. Jimmy Fallon is comparing Bored Apes with Paris Hilton. Dogecoin is wildly popular. And crypto bros have invested their life savings to buy the privilege to tell you that they are set for life by putting their money into FTX trading. Ooh. Okay, so it's hard to think about the hype around NFTs and cryptocurrencies and all that without thinking about how they are performing in 2023, and by that I mean not well. But they were able to get so popular and defraud so many people so easily because the people were advertised not a product, but a dream. Listen to how this crypto bro uses his lifestyle to advertise Bitcoin.
Hello, my name is Carl Runefeld. This is my car collection. Welcome to my life.
Who is Carl? Definitely the youngest crypto guy I've seen with a Bugatti. Look at what?
Well, actually, 3.5 years ago, I was still working in a grocery store in Sweden, and then I changed my mindset. I used the law of attraction. So I was kind of, using energy and the universe to visualize my dream life. 3 years later, I bought my Bugatti after I quit my grocery store job. I have a big group of companies, yes, and I also invested in 400 crypto startups.
Wow.
Which makes me, I think, the biggest angel investor in the crypto space.
As you can hear in the video, the most important thing is not the actual value of Bitcoin, but how Bitcoin Bitcoin can get you what you want. A big house, fancy cars, a life outside the 9 to 5, etc, etc. Bitcoin as an investment is presented as though success is a guarantee, and it's easy to go from working in a grocery store to living in a multi-million-pound home, able to get hella babes with your hella cars. This would be all fine if Bitcoin was a viable, reliable way to make money, but it's not. It's highly volatile, insanely unreliable, and a very easy avenue to find yourself scammed out of your retirement fund. Thus, when ads play up the desirability of a product to the point that it obscures the actual value of the product, this is also seen in things like shrinkflation, when a brand makes a product look more bang for your buck than it actually is, and paid reviews by influencers.
Look how long and lengthened my lashes look.
This literally just changed my life. This looks like false light. This is how? What? And then once you've done that, you flip the brush to the side and you use the hook comb to basically separate. This is one coat. Okay, I'm gonna add a second. Look at the length. Do you see that? I am speechless. And I'm not sure anyone's gonna ever be able to compete with this mascara.
They are being entirely unethical against the interests of the consumer. Like they always say, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Alright, buckle up, mate. What do you think of when you think of influencer? Would I be correct if it was the image of a typical influencer model who is often photographed on some exotic beach with their perfectly round tush out talking about body positivity, while at the same time trying to sell you some skinny tees, Ana Luisa necklaces, or a discount from Shein? There's no doubt about it. Influencers today are not relatable at all. However, the main issue is a lot of influencers try to present themselves as authentic by acting like they are a relatable person with relatable worries and a relatable budget. However, and this is a big however, the more influence an influencer gets, the richer they become. The less relatable they become, the less their presented inauthenticity as a relatable person rings true to the viewer. Yet they still have to try present themselves as relatable as ever, because that is how they have built their audience and how they have reliably advertised products in the past. This reality is in fact a big problem with influencers these days, and a lot of the public has started to wake up and not trust the opinion of influencers, especially since a lot of them have at some point been exposed of exploiting their followers' trust in their relatability, authenticity, and the assumption that the influencer wouldn't try to sell them something that's harmful or bad just to make more money. Look, it's the same with Cadbury's caring deeply about the Amazon rainforest and Shell being an avid environmental activist. I do not blame companies holding fast to their company interest, but at least those ones are being honest. They don't care about you, and they're not trying to say they do. I much prefer the devil I know to the devil I don't. It's when a company insincerely sells their product by presenting themselves as authentic because they hold to a particular identity, belief, or a certain set of values or standards which they have co-opted for a profit. That's what gets me. It's something a lot of consumers fall for, and which is, to me at least, something that is completely unethical to the 10th degree. Alright, yeah. Point is, advertising has been honed to an exact science to make you want to buy their product using every trick in the book. Hey. I'm not saying all of advertising is bad. I'm just saying that we as a society need to be more aware of what we're consuming, how we're being influenced, and in what ways companies are trying to convince us to buy their products. In the end, I truly believe most companies, particularly the ones that are not small businesses, not ma and pa shops, not companies that are an integrated part of a community, etc., the other types of big business, multi-million-dollar companies do not care about you as an individual. You are a consumer to them. And they have again and again proven themselves not at all above using unethical, psychological, and almost biohacking methods to get you to buy what they want. Whether that is showing you 1,000 ads in an hour, grossly misrepresenting products to make them seem more appealing, or changing their Twitter profile, X, their X profile to a rainbow flag for a month every summer. They will try almost anything to get your precious doubloons. You should just be aware of that. If you made it this far, I really hope you enjoyed the video. It was a long one. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much for listening. It took so much effort. I tried my best with it. So what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Comment down below. On the subject, forget what I said. I really think Bitcoin is going straight to the moon. Buy £50,000 of Bitcoin right now to ride that wave. Coin. Coin. Go for coin.
That is delicious. Finally, some good fucking food.